Well, hi everybody and welcome back to Apple Cottage. This is Sandy and I am Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming. Well, it's the end of the week. It's Saturday night for me and tomorrow is the first day of the week for me. And so I just thought I would do a week in review while I do my dishes. Because as some of you know, I don't like to have my dishes sit overnight. I like to finish up my day and make sure all my dishes are done. And so I'm just going to talk while I'm doing the dishes. So I got my dishes set. I love really hot water. So, and one of the things I like to do when I'm doing dishes, I do them in order. I like to do them glasses first because the water is so hot. Silverware after that. And the silverware is always soaking while I'm doing my dishes. While I'm doing up all the glasses. My brother gave me these glasses. I love them. He said that it reminded him of some glasses that my grandma had on the farm. Similar. And I love drinking out of mason jars. Green, purple, clear, it doesn't matter. But what did I do this week? Well, you know, you always do the regular things. We did dishes and laundry and house chores, all those regular things that you always do. But then I did a video on my raised beds have hoops on them, or if they didn't, I put them on there. And I just wanted to protect them from the hail. I hated that you work all summer long and a hailstorm goes through and it ruins your vegetables. Makes me so mad. Trust in the Lord. So that was, if you haven't watched that video, do. It's not very long, but it just tells you about what I thought, my thinking behind it. And the other thing I found was today when I went to water, because it was 90 degrees today, the ones that had the screens on already, the soil was moisture. And I know it's because the sun filters through it instead of just beats down on it. When I get all the glasses done, I check to make sure I have them all done. Now, I use tubs inside my sink because you use less water. And you don't think that it's not that much water. But over a year's time, it's a lot of water. And a lot of times my rinse water, I will use on my plants. The dishwater, I'll use on my fruit trees. So what I like to do is just put all of my glass dishes, all my glasses, into my drainer because I don't use a dishwasher. I don't actually have a dishwasher. I did it one time, but I gave it to my daughter because she needed it. And so then it's time for the silverware because the water is still extremely hot. My husband always says, how can you even put your hands in that water? But I want it as hot as possible, so I put it on pure hot, and you just get used to the water. Now, another big project that we had this week is we've had a retaining wall on part of our yard for about almost 14 years. Well, one of the 4x6 posts decided it wanted to lean, and it was leaning about 8 inches. It was a lot. And so we had to dig out from behind it, and I'm doing a video on it, but we got, so far today when we were putting the gravel back next to the wood part of the retaining wall, and we didn't have enough gravel. Well, we went to get some more from the place where we got the gravel, and they were closed because it was Saturday. So I won't finish that video until Monday. Joe's off on Monday, and so we can finish that. You know another reason why I like to do my dishes late at night before I go to bed, especially in the wintertime. I mean, I do it all the time, but in the wintertime, it just warms up your hands and your body, and when you're ready to go to bed, you're nice and warm. I mean, I don't like going to bed when I'm really cold in the wintertime. And so that's just a little tidbit of information. So anyway, the retaining wall, the video will go up Monday night. if all goes as planned. And I showed step by step of what we did because Joe was really ingenious in how he did it. Now, I have a plot over the community garden, and I've done a video about planting some stuff in there. Note, after the silverware, all the plates or any cutting boards go in there. Why? Because the water is still really hot. And my thinking is the things that touch your food and touch your mouth should be washed and rinsed in the hottest water. So that's what I do. Now anyway, over at the community garden, there was a plot next to mine that nobody took, and they had offered it to me, and I thought, I'm not sure I want to do another plot over there. But nobody took it and nobody took it, so I decided I'd take it. And so it was a process this week of pulling lots of weeds, and then I took my little, it's like a little rototiller, but it's really called a cultivator. And I just needed to just get the last of those weeds out of there. And so I did that, and I planted. And over there, because my first plot there is just root crops, basically. I mean, there's a few things that aren't root crops, but for the most part, it's root crops. And so this one, everything's above ground. Tomatoes and cabbages and Swiss chard, and this new vegetable that I'm growing, and I think you pronounce it Masuna. I could be wrong. I think it comes from Japan. And so I have that, and lettuces, and toothache plants, and just all kinds of stuff over there. And I'm going to use that screening idea over there. So I'll do a video over there on how I'm setting that up, because the community garden almost every year gets hit multiple times with hailstorms. It's just the location that it is, and it's just horrible. And so I'm going to use some screening, that screen material over there, and I'll show you how I do that. Now I have two parental units, my mother and my father. They're elderly, they're in their 80s. In fact, my dad on his next birthday is going to be 90, which is totally awesome. And they're downsizing. They're going to a smaller house, which really isn't a smaller house. It's over 2,000 square feet, but it's smaller than the about 6,000 square feet house that they were living in. Anyway, so they're downsizing, and they're also shrinking. I know it, parents shrink, and all of us shrink when we get older. I'm shorter than I used to be. But anyway, my dad had pairs of slacks that he wanted an inch shorter. So I said I would do that. Then he had a couple shirts that the sleeves were too long. So I did that. Then he had a coat that he didn't like the logo on the back. So I fixed that. And then my mom had a beautiful dress. And so I fixed that. So then I went over and saw them real quick because I was going to, one of my grandson's graduations. He was graduating from high school. And so I dropped those off to my parental units and went to my grandson's graduation, which was awesome. He had it with two of his really good friends and their families, and it was lovely. The weather could not have been more perfect, and it was just a wonderful thing. So we drive 2 hours. We stop at my parents' house for 10 minutes. I stop at my brother's house to give him some apple scions for his apple trees. And we go up there for an hour and a half, and then we drive 2 hours back. It was a fast day. But you do those things because you love your family. And it was great seeing them. It was so much fun. I had a physical this week. You know, you have your yearly physical. It's always good, no matter what age you are. And I had my blood draw. And so I'll get the results from my blood draw. And I guess I could have had him send it, but Joe's just going to pick it up when he has his physical. Are these lovely bowls or what? I know they're made from China, but they are so heavy, and they're nesting bowls, so I have different sizes of them. I love them. And then I have my plastic dollar store bowls. I use these for collecting things. Collecting vegetables. Today I collected my lilacs because I'm making lilac jelly, and that video will go up tomorrow. And they're $1, so I don't care if they get stained with stuff, and it's just something to carry vegetables into the house or flowers into the house. Things like that. They work perfect for $1. An exciting thing that happened this week. Now I like watching all the birds in my yard, and I have a lot of bird feeders. Sorry, had to grab a frying pan. And I had 3 cedar waxwings in my yard this week. I knew that they were in Wyoming, but never have I seen one. And they sat in that tall tree for the longest time, and it was just lovely that they were in my yard. And then they were back again today. So that just made my day. It seriously did. Planted some new things in my hydroponics because some things are about to be done, and so I wanted to have some things up and growing for that. Cut some more lettuce because we had that extra. Made strawberry rhubarb jam. Did a little video on a trick on making the strawberries and rhubarb stay all over throughout the jam. Had to move 1, 2, 3, 4 rhubarb plants because they were in the way of Joe working on the retaining wall. So I just moved them, and in fact I think they'll probably like it better where they are. And then I planted a couple more apple trees. So really, that was my week. It was busy, busy, busy. Oh, of course I pulled weeds. And it's so funny. You know, as a master gardener, I am always getting people that say, what do I do with my weeds? How do I get rid of my weeds? And I always say, it's very simple. All you do is pull them. No, I don't want to pull them. If you want to get rid of your weeds, you pull them. But a trick I learned from this winter was that we have Canadian thistles. Huh, see, I'm hot from doing the dishes. And one of the guys from the university said, you're better off taking your pruners and pruning them right on ground level instead of yanking them, because it stimulates their roots to make more plants. And then you just don't water it for a little while, and that sun just burns them. And I have been watching, so I've been doing that since, I suppose I probably got my first one end of April. Because certain parts of my yard, I get them. But every year, I have been pulling them, and it's gotten less and less. But I think this is really the key with Canadian thistles. You just take your pruners, prune it right at ground level, and make sure you're not watering there for at least a day. And it just really shrivels up that stalk because it's kind of open inside there, and that milky stuff just dries up. So that's my week. Busy, fun, hot the last 2 days, 91 degrees. And I'll see you soon.